Now may I request Professor Vaidyanathan to please tell us the highlights of this very original thinking in the book.
Good evening, friends. At the outset, I would like to sincerely thank my good friend Ajit Gawal for that very graceful introduction. I would like to also thank Shri Advaniji for being very cooperative. Immediately accepted when I suggested to him I would like to. I treat him, I can share it with you more like my father. He has been a great guide, great type of inspiration on many activities of mine. And I would like to express my thanks. Dr. Swami, of course, needs no introduction. And as many of his opponents will say, he requires only a conclusion. Dr. Swami is known to me for a long period of time, erudite, and many of you might not be knowing about it. But for his, I always tell him, but for his foray into this politics and other thing, he would have been an extraordinarily Nobel Prize winning economist. But life is different. Now, very briefly about the book. First is, many people ask, why do you write books? People are not reading. Reading habit is no more there. When I was in college, it used to be told, one newspaper will say 1 lakh is our print circulation, 6 lakh people read it. That is, so many others also borrow and read or. Now the situation is different. 6 lakh is our circulation, 50,000 people only read it. I asked, why do people buy newspaper? They say, no, when you put it into that end of the month, what you get is more than the subscription amount. That is the main reason. So the ready wala, so reading is not there. But I would suggest, if you were my student, of course I would have compelled you to read it by keeping as part of the syllabus. Telling, chapter 8 and chapter 11 are required to be read. And then somebody will ask me, chapter 8 is okay, sir, but which page in that? Whole chapter we can't read. So reading is, anyhow, best is Uttamam, we call it, buy and read. Madhyamam is buy, whether you read it or not, doesn't matter. Adhamam is don't buy, don't read. Don't do that, somehow buy the book. Inspiration for this came because I have been associated with a large number of companies on their board, regulatory bodies. So everybody asks, why this unincorporated? So I have been teaching, what do you call, investment, capital market, derivatives, option features and others. Why? The idea is simple. This came about maybe some 15 years before. I am doing a regular course on this in my institute also. There is a vegetable vendor near my house, one lady, who comes around every day morning, say let's say 7 o'clock. She drives a TVS 50, two-wheeler, brings all the vegetables. Up to night 9 or something, she will be there. She has a shop, regular shop actually. Every day, day after day, for 365 days of that, or 366 days of the year. So I became very curious. What is this lady doing another thing? And I wanted to know where is she positioned in our economy. So I went through all the statistical, Indian statistical publications, sources and methods, voluminous data, published as recently as 2011, tough read actually. And then I found out, after a lot of going through all of that, that she is classified as unorganized sector. I was very, very depressed. She is much better organized than many large multinational corporations. She is very meticulous. She knows her customers. She gets the items, if it is not today, tomorrow, day after day after day. Similarly, a small fast food idli providing joint next to her is also classified as unorganized. And this is what I would call terminological terrorism. Because unorganized means it looks like disorganized, which it is not. The worst part of the story is after 2 pages in the same guide book by the government of India, The government is classified as organized. Which made me really my blood pressure go up. She is unorganized, but government is organized. I thought there is some problem somewhere. Because I would, immediately classify her as the distinct thing, and government definitely all of us are. I'm sure large number of people are here who have been or who are associated with the government. So that is the one starting point or source for me to investigate this. And then I slowly found out that share in the national income is 45 to 50%. And they are called residual sector. Can you believe this? India is the only country where 50% is called residual. Why are they called residual? Because in US they are 6 to 7%. So they are called residual. So here also they are called residual. Terminology we just copy and use it. Their saving, for instance, household sector saving is something like 90-92%. Largest investment comes from domestic saving. We spend lot of time and effort in FDA and FII discussion. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. Every day morning, the discussion is on FDA or FII. What you should do? How to bring more FII? Somebody says in a meeting, sir, don't sneeze. If you sneeze, FII won't come. Behave properly. Wear a tie. Because in India, you must have a tie to tell a lie. Let me tell you that. Excuse me for that. Right? Otherwise, you can't. So much people are controlled to get the contribution of FII and FDA put together in no particular year is more than 7% in domestic investment. So much we spend our time and effort. 93% of the domestic investment comes from domestic saving. And of that, 85 to 90% comes from this group, household activities. And in a sense, if you ask who is responsible for our growth, it is an average Indian housewife. She is singularly responsible for the growth rate which we are showing for a long period of time. Phenomenal amount of saving we do. So various components of this when I began to analyze, I was fascinated actually. And they suffer from two curses. One is the regulatory framework at the low level. When we talk about reform, immediately people talk about reforms in the FII, reforms in the stock market, reforms in the licensing and all that. That's okay, nothing wrong about it. But more critical is reforms which are required for these groups at the state level. Shops and Establishment Act, Food and Adulteration Act, Commercial Taxes Act. I can enumerate so many of them which have not been reformed at all and which are very oppressive and which are sources of extraordinary amount of corruption generated from these people. For instance, my vegetable vendor, she has to provide something like 20 rupees of her turnover of 300 rupees. 10% of the gross sales in terms of various type of government agencies. The second problem faced by them is credit. In spite of various discussion about RBI increasing credit rate, prime rate and other things, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual reality of the country. Most of these people borrow at 3 to 4% per month. There is nothing to, it comes to 48, 36 to 48. It has got nothing to do with this prime rate and discussion and other. So huge amount of credit requirement. Anywhere up to 70% of the credit requirement is met by unorganized credit market. So these are the two major issues which I think we need to focus on. The issues of corruption at that level. And when we talk about reform, I genuinely feel we must talk about reform at state level. Why it is more important? Not only the share is very large, they are the fastest growing segments of the Indian economy. For instance, service sector, we say 2/3 of the economy. Immediately people think of only IT. IT is one component of the service sector, very small component actually. Construction, restaurants, truck owners, truck operators, and various other type of services are primarily retail shops, kirana shops. And they constitute 2/3 of our economy. And of that 80% is this non-corporate people. And they are the ones who are engines of our economic growth. They are growing around 9% CAGR. Many of you might have heard that. Adjusted for inflation, annual basis. So the single responsible agency for our growth is these groups. I think time has come for us to recognize this, formulate policies. Instead of asking people to behave as per models, which we have been doing for the last, I think, 60 years. We import models either from US or USSR and then compel people to behave as per. If they don't behave as per, they are told you are not rational. I think we must start thinking in terms of building models based on people's behavior. Don't compel people to behave as per models. We must create our own solutions for our own existing issues and problems. That is what is very critical. I thought in that direction, this could provide a starting point for debate and discussion. Because as somebody told, you are a free market man. I am a free market man. I am not a free market man in the sense of, greed is good. They belong to the old style, Edmund Burke and Rajagopalachari free market. Where restraint is important. Where actually managing business used to be taught. Today you might be surprised, most of the business schools, they teach about managing government as a course. Where have we come from? From managing business to managing, and managing government has become a primary activity of business. And for government, managing itself has not become a primary activity. We have moved far, far away from the original ideas of market, original ideas of saving, original ideas of restraint, original ideas of encouraging entrepreneurship. I think we must recalibrate ourselves. And in that context, I thought this could be an initial starting point. I am extremely happy for all of you who are present here to encourage me in this endeavor. Thank you very much.